Fnac is a large French retail chain selling cultural and electronic products, founded by André copyright Essel and Max Théret copyright Théret in 1954. Its head office is in La Flavia in Ivry-sur-Seine near Paris. Fnac is an abbreviation of FAR copyright DAR copyright Ration Nationale dar Euro unregistered trademark Attribution des Cadres. Core values: the company's founders, André copyright Essel and Max Théret copyright Théret, were both part of France's young socialist movement. Fnac was founded in 1954. Fnac holds forums throughout the year, which are opportunities for customers to have dialogue with people such as Pedro Armoda Cubedvar, George Lucas, and David Cronenberg, discussions with authors including Paul Auster, Pierre Bourdieu, and Fnac Noise Giraud, in addition to concerts. Musicians playing in these concerts have included Jan Tiersen, Ben Harper, Keane and David Bowie. Each year a book fair is held with discussions among writers, politicians and the public. Topics related to literature, culture, society and the sciences are discussed. Since 2001 the company has also annually presented an award, Le Prix du Roman Fnac, whose winners are chosen by a panel of booksellers and members. Dominique Maynard, Pierre Carrez and Pierre Parr copyright due are among those who have won. These events are shown on the company website fnaclive.com. The company claims to be committed to defending the diversity of music. In February 2002 Fnac published with UPFI Manifeste pour la diversité copyright musicale, as a prelude to a policy of favorable treatment for independent labels and their artists. Fnac publishes Indie Copyright Tendencies, a compilation of 10 artists bi-monthly published by independent labels, which it set aside part of its listening kiosks and stores to promote their work. History: Fnac was founded in 1954 as a members-only discount buyers club by André copyright Essel and Max Théret copyright Théret. The objective of the company for the two founders would be to serve both the commercial and consumer industries, offering discounted equipment through a magazine titled Contact. The first shop was opened in a sublet, a second-floor apartment on the Rue de Sébastopol in Paris on July 31, 1954. The brand positioning of the company continued with the training of sales assistants in their product categories, with purchases being guaranteed for 1 year. Furthermore, all products were tested in the company's independent test center before sale. The test center would check for technical quality, ease of use, price and the price-quality ratio, and all results were published in the company's free members magazine Contact, which today can also be found advertised in store. In addition, staff were expected to do more than just sell their products but offer advice to customers, and beginning in 1957 blacklist any unsatisfactory products, such as those with technical difficulties. By the end of its first full year of operation the company saw revenues of 50 million old francs. In 1957, it was selling televisions, hi-fis, recording equipment, radios and records. 1960s and 1970s In 1966, the Fnac store was opened to non-members and began to expand, opening its second store, also in Paris on the Avenue de Wagram, near the Arc de Triomphe in 1969. By this time, the company had 580 employees. The 1970s saw further expansion for Fnac, as the company began opening shops in the French provinces outside Paris and a third in the city itself that sold books, the newest addition to the product range. The founders of the company sold 40% of the company to insurance firm Union des Assurances to raise money to fund growth. In turn, the insurance firm sold 16% of its shares to investment bank Banque de Paris et des Pays-Bas, in 1972. During this period, the company's sales were worth an estimated $70 million, generating net profits of $2.2 million, translating to 4% of all record sales in the French market, 8% of sound equipment sales and 10% of photo equipment sales. In 1974, the company began selling books at 80% of the RRP, which sparked protests from publishers, writers and independent booksellers alike, who could not benefit from the economies of scale. This prompted government action in 1982 with the so-called anti-Fnac law, that was signed to limit discounts on books to a maximum of 5%. In 1975, videos were added to the product range. Towards the late 1970s, Fnac continued to expand by building to 12 stores in Paris and other cities through France. In 1977, the remaining shares of the company's founders were sold to the Société Copyright Tar Copyright Gar Copyright Nirail des Coopératives de Consommation to raise more capital. 1980s and 1990s Fnac became a public limited company on the Paris Stock Exchange in 1980 when 25% of the company was offered to the public. SGCC, however, maintained a 51% control of the company, which now employed more than 2,700 and was declaring turnover of FFR 2.2 billion. In 1981, Fnac opened a store in Brussels, Belgium under the management of Sodal, a joint venture between Fnac and the GIB Group. The GIB Group later added 3 more stores in the mid-1980s, in Ghent, Antwerp, and Liège. In 1983, André copyright Essel retired and was replaced by the then SGCC president Roger Kerenek. In 1985, SGCC sold its shares to the insurance group Garantie Mutuelle des Fonctionnaires due to growing competition from the French hypermarket and discount chains such as Carrefour and Leclerc. Michel Barin, GMF's president and director general, took these positions at Fnac as well. In 1987, Barin disappeared in an airplane accident and Jean-Louis Petriat was named to lead both GMF and Fnac. In 1988, the first Virgin Megastore opened in Paris. Petriat announced a FFR 1.5 billion plan to add 15 new stores to the 31-store chain and double the company's gross revenues, in order to compete with a new entrant to the French market. Petriat also had plans to expand into the German market. By this point, sales of compact discs and other recordings had joined books as the company's most important sources of revenue. Fnac now has 20% of the recordings market, making it the largest retailer in the country. During the late 1980s, Petriat added a music distribution division following the purchase of Watra Music Distribution. In January 1991, Fnac Music was formed. Petriat hoped to build the first French multinational record company, with plans to capture as much as 5% of the market. The 1990s brought fierce competition after the arrival of HMV and Virgin Megastores in 1988 as well as the strength of hypermarkets. The company responded by cutting its prices and stepping up the competition, which forced HMV to leave France after only 6 months. Virgin Megastores remained in the French market, and decided to open 2 more stores in addition to its original store in Paris. In response to the Megastore, as seen to the right, Fnac spent around $23 million to build its own Megastore, at 32,000 square meters, more than twice the size of the Virgin Megastore, which became known as the Cathedral. In 1991, the first Fnac store was opened in Berlin continuing with Petriat's plans. This was close to the original Virgin Megastore, which opened there only a few months earlier. In 1992, the fate of Fnac Librairie Internationale, featuring books in languages other than French, was sealed and closed after only a year of trading. This store was converted to a computer products-only concept, called Fnac Micro, which proved more successful. In 1993, the first Fnac store was opened in Madrid, Spain. However, the Fnac Music subsidiary, while posting some successes, failed to live up to the company's expectations and was unable to gain more than a 2% market share and was eventually sold off the distribution arm WMD, which shut down Fnac Music in 1994. Despite some failures, the company revealed growing revenues though shrinking profits in the early 1990s, also attributed to the recession in the French economy. In 1991 the company recorded gross sales of FFR 7.4 billion, while profits fell approximately FFR 55 million, to FFR 159.5 million. The following year, despite a rise in revenues to FFR 8.9 billion, the company's net income dropped to FFR 31.9 million. The falling profits for Fnac was a similar situation to the parent company, GMF, whose share count totaled more than 80%. To raise more capital, GMF agreed to sell its shares of Fnac in July 1993 to Altus Finances, a subsidiary of government-owned CRA Copyright des Lyonnais, and Phoenix, a property group owned by French waterworks company Gare Copyright Na Copyright Rail des Eaux, for FFR 2.4 billion. The deal came under scrutiny by the Commission des Opéras Copyright Rations de Bourse, though was allowed to proceed in September 1993. CRA Copyright des Lyonnais became the majority shareholder, with 64% of shares, while Gare Copyright Na Copyright Rail des Eaux held 34%. The remaining 2% of shares continued to be publicly owned. In 1994, CRA Copyright des Lyonnais announced it was going to sell its 64% share of the company as part of a FFR 20 billion asset reduction plan. In July 1994, the Altus Finances subsidiary agreed to sell the majority stake in Fnac for FFR 1.9 billion to Fnac Pinault, the largest shareholder in and architect of Pinault Printemps Redoubt. Since 1994, PPA Pinault Printemps Redoubt has been the majority shareholder of Fnac, and the company was led by Fnac Henri Pinault, son of the parent company's head Fnac Pinault. The new ownership saw the closure of the WMD and Fnac music subsidiaries and instead concentrated on further expansion of its retail chain. In 1995, the company added its 45th French store, while a second Spanish store, in Barcelona, was opened in 1996. In 1995, the Fnac store was closed in Berlin and the company instead continued its international expansion in Belgium, which were now becoming profitable. In October 1996, the new parent company assumed full control of the Belgian affiliate and announced plans to double the number of stores in Belgium that began with the opening of a fifth store in 1997. In March 1996, Fnac Henri was named chairman of Fnac and opened 2 stores in France. At this point, Fnac had revenues passing FFR 10 billion and net earnings of FFR 200 million. In 1999, the first Fnac store outside Europe was opened in Sao Paulo. 2000s. In 2013, Kering spun off Fnac as an independent company. Operations. As of 2015, the company has stores in France, Belgium, Brazil, Monaco, Morocco, Portugal, Spain and Switzerland. Belgium. Fnac operates 9 stores in Belgium. Brazil. There are 12 Fnac stores in Brazil, including Pinheiros, Barra Shopping, Shopping Dom Pedro, Paulista, Shopping Barigui, Park Shopping, Morumbi Shopping, Barra Shopping Sul, Ribeira Pound O Shopping, BH Shopping, and Flamboyant Shopping. The headquarters is located in Sao Paulo. Italy. In 2013, Fnac sold all stores to Italian Troni. It no longer operates there. Spain. There are 25 Fnac stores in Spain, including Plaza Callao, La, San Augusta N, Triangle, Cozo, Buleva, Park Principado, Diagonal Mar, La Cour Place or Ada, Plaza, Plaza Norte, Park Sur, Donostia, Nueva Condomina, Bilbao, Ave de la Constitución Cubden, Plaza de Lugo, Mar Larga Plaza, Plaza Imperial, La Gavia, and Paseo de la Castellana. The headquarters is located in Pozuelo de Alarca Cubden, Madrid. Switzerland. As of 2009, there are 4 Fnac stores in Switzerland, 2 in Geneva, the 3rd in Lausanne and the 4th in Fribourg. Monaco. Fnac operates a single store in Monaco, in the Mar Copyright Tripole Shopping Centre. Morocco. In 2011, Fnac opened its first store in Africa, located in Morocco Mall, Casablanca, Morocco. Portugal. There are 22 Fnac stores in Portugal, including Colombo, Naughty Shopping, Chiado, Casai Shopping, Oeiras Park, Santa Catarina, Almada, Gaia Shopping, Algarve Shopping, Forum Coimbra, Madeira Shopping, Braga Park, Allegro, Palacio do Gelo, Mars Shopping, IKEA, Vasco da Gama, Guimara Pound Shopping, Luria Shopping, Lisbon Airport and Amarie Iris Shopping. Also a website, which was the most popular commercial website in Portugal in 2007. Loyalty Program. FNAC operates a loyalty program offering points that are awarded each time the card is presented at the till point, for each euro spent. A membership fee applies. For every 4,000 points earned, a gift card worth €10 is issued to the card holder. As of 2008, the program has 1.8 million members, with the loyalty card also serving as a credit card. As of 2008, there are two versions of the card, a 1-year membership card or alternatively a 3-year membership card. The membership card offers a 5% discount on hardware, books and various monthly offers. Product range. FNAC stores stock a range of products from audio, books, CDs, computer software and hardware, DVDs, televisions and video games. Some stores also operate services of photography and ticket sales. The company also offers a selection of more expensive consumer products, positioning themselves above discount retailers. Future. In 2008, FNAC opened 10 new stores, bringing their total locations, internationally, to 207, with 63 of those outside of France. Head office. FNAC's head office is in La Flavia in Ivry-sur-Seine, France. The 6-story building was designed by Jean-Claude Bessot and has 16,400 square meters of space. The building is a part of the Ivry Port project. Previously the company head office was located in Clichy-la-Garonne, Hauts-de-Seine. Around 2006 there were rumors stating that FNAC would move to Wissers. In 2008 the head office moved to Ivry-sur-Seine. The subsidiary FNAC.com moved from Aubervilliers to Ivry during the same year. In popular culture, the story of the 2005 Spanish thriller Mar Rojo, starring Maribel Verdú, begins with an armed robbery at the FNAC store in Barcelona. See also: Dixons, competitor; MediaMarkt, competitor; PPR, parent company. References: International Directory of Company Histories, Volume 21. St. James Press, 1998. External links: French FNAC website, Belgian FNAC website, Brazilian FNAC website, Italian FNAC website, Portuguese FNAC website, Spanish FNAC website, Swiss FNAC website.